So myself, I'm Jonu. I'm a staff engineer in Nutanix. So I'm currently leading the training working group and the automobile working group. So I've been here in community for some time, since its start of Qflow in 2018, and been a good contributor to the current design and implementation of the training operator and CATIP. So here I will talk about the CATIP user journey. So particularly from a new user who wants to try out CATIP, let's talk about what are the features and how to adapt their use cases in CATIP. Right. So what is hyperparameter tuning? Right. So here the hyperparameters are parameters which are fixed before the training process. So examples would be the learning rate, batch size, or number of epochs, momentum, etc. So the hyperparameter tuning process finds the best hyperparameters for your environment that optimizes a particular objective function. So this can be considered as a meta learning task. So example would be find out the best learning rate given the model, right, in order to maximize the prediction accuracy. So why is this hard, right? Like for a new people. So here the manual tuning. So can we do manual tuning? Yes, but and that's how people try out that. But that is inefficient and error prone. So the reason is you have multiple hyperparameters, and more the hyperparameters you have a larger search space, right? So which basically makes even much more difficult because there are more permutation and combinations. And you have wide variety of frameworks. Say you would be using TensorFlow, PyTorch, or you'd be doing that in different languages. So how do we support that kind of use case? Also, then system can fail, trials can fail. So your system has to be failure tolerant. And regarding the scale, which is more important, you need to have a multi-tenant system which can support real scale, where on demand you have to allocate more resources and free up when it is no more needed. And of course, portability, when you initially want to start small, having a local deployment, and then move to cloud for much more elastic training and tuning. So that is where CATIP comes into picture. So here, this is fully Kubernetes native solution. And since it is built on Kubernetes, you automatically get all the features of Kubernetes. It is scalable, fault tolerant, portable. It is production ready. People are using that in production in various companies. Currently, it is in V1 Beta 1 API. There are no more changes. We are moving to V1 soon. And regarding the extensible nature, it is framework agnostic. It just expects a Docker container. So you could write anything in that. It supports TensorFlow, PyTorch, and MXNet, and you can see all the samples in the current repository as examples. It has customizable algorithm backend. So it supports different types of algorithms. If you are an advanced user, you could have various types of algorithms, which you could see that from the documentation. So some commonly used are the random grid search, Bayesian, hyperband, and in case of a network architecture search, which is a separate domain altogether from the hyperparameter. So let's talk about the main concepts in CATIP. So an experiment, that's the highest level abstraction, which basically defines your problem statement. So you could think as the main optimization loop for your specific problem. So that is where you define your problem. So here an experiment spec actually contains multiple sections. Now, the first section is objective, which is what you are trying to optimize. So I'll take one example and talk more about it in the future slides. Then comes your search space, which defines the constraints for the different parameters, and the search algorithm, which defines how to find your optimal configurations. So all these concepts are finally defined as a custom resource in Kubernetes, which basically allows you to have kubectl access, and the normal ways to handle that. So here, when since experiment is a custom resource, you could so there is a custom controller for that, which is called the experiment controller, which watches on it, and I'll talk more about in the system architecture slide. So then the other one is the suggestion. So suggestion is one set of hyperparameter values, or you could think that as like one solution to your optimization problem. So again, this is also a custom resource, and suggestion controller is one which is responsible for taking actions on suggestions. So here it's very simple. So what it does is when a request is made to give X number of hyperparameter solutions, it basically talks to the right algorithm service, generates and returns back that many number of solutions. The other concept is trial. So trial is one layer on top of the suggestion. So once you get a proposed solution to a hyperparameter problem, now it encapsulates that, and you start a worker process for that. Finally, the worker process emits metrics and it is stored in the backend DB. So that's what the trial does it. So trial, there is a one trial for a particular suggestion. So it is like one-to-one mapping for that. And as I discussed in the previous slide, so there is a worker process associated with trial. So there are multiple types which are supported in KTIP. One is the batch job, which is the Kubernetes default way of handling jobs. There are other distributed training operator jobs which are supported. One is TF job, which is the TensorFlow operator. So you could run distributed training job as a trial. You could run distributed PyTorch job as a trial using PyTorch job, MPI distributed job using MPI job, or you could use custom resources where you could define your own custom resources and say how to, and define a few structures and make sure that the KTIP is compatible with that, depending on the versions that you use. And it starts your trial worker directly from that. So the Tekton pipeline and Argo, right now they are supported in KTIP. So this is the key system architecture of KTIP. So from a user point of view, he just creates a simple experiment spec, which is the experiment custom resource. So he like as a like any Kubernetes config, he could just do an apply on that. And so what happens after that? I'll just talk very briefly about it. So it will help you to debug if you find something unusual in your environment. So the experiment controller, which is the one which is watching for experiments, picks up the experiment custom resource and creates a suggestion custom resource. So the suggestion custom resource is based on the values which you have provided in the experiment custom resource. So say, for example, I have, say, user needs to have X number of hyperparameter solutions. So the experiment controller provides that many number of requests in the suggestion custom resource and submits it. The suggestion controller picks up the suggestion custom resource, talks to the algorithm service via gRPC, and gets back the hyperparameter tuner solutions. Now, the experiment controller reads the suggestion status, creates the trial custom resource. So the trial controller reading that creates that many number of parallel trials. And there are different parameters to tune that. Now, each trial corresponds to one particular suggestion. So here the trial gets started. It starts out emitting metrics, and these metrics are stored onto a metric DB once it is completed. And this experiment controller reads from the metric database and figures out, oh, okay, my experiment is not yet completed, so I have to put more suggestions, right? So it creates more suggestions. That loop continues till your objective is reached. So that is a main loop, as you see in the pseudocode, like there is an extra while loop here, which basically does the reconciliation till your experiment objective is reached, or you could configure maximum number of trials, that probably to limit the number of resources used, right? Till that time, the same loop continues. So here, let's talk about a sample experiment spec. So this will give you a better idea how to write a new spec depending on your use case. So this is the core area that you have to focus on, which defines the real work. So there is a trial template and the parameter, and you have to define the trial parameters. So here there are 3 parameters: learning rate, number of layers, and the number of layers. So here once and optimizer, sorry. And once you have defined that, what you have to make sure is to provide that as a command line, or there is an option to use that as environment variable inside your container. Right. So here on the right, you could see that on the command line, yeah, can you mute that, Andre? Yeah. So on the command line, you could see that there are three command line argument for learning rate, number of layers, and optimizer. So so once it is executed, user doesn't need to worry about it. It is automatically passed on to the container with the right set of hyperparameter solutions for in each loop. And here you could see that the trial spec contains batch job as example, but here you could use TF job or PyTorch job as explained earlier if you want a distributed training at this point. So here one thing to remember is each job is separate. So say for example, if you are giving CPU limits to be 2 and GPU to be 1, and you have 3 parallel jobs, each one will take two CPUs and 1 GPU. So overall, it will require 6 CPUs and 3 GPUs, right? So you have to think about your resource constraints when you are starting your trial spec. So once you have defined that, you have extra set of parameters to define your experiment. That's the first one, as I explained earlier. That is the one which is defining your final experiment objective. So here I'm saying the objective of the experiment is to maximize the objective metric name, which is validation accuracy, to reach a final goal of 99%. And I have to track extra metric name, which is the train accuracy. So here it is a single metric optimization, which is the validation accuracy. But I have additional metric names which can be also tracked. For example, you could see like probably the graph of train accuracy later to see that like what happens after each epoch. So that is the main meaning of the additional metric names. But the optimization happens on the objective metric name, which is validation accuracy. The next section is the parameters, where you define your search space. So here, as I've said, there are 3 parameters. One is learning rate, which is of double type. And I've set the minimum maximum, and I could even set the step size. So again, here, for the other one, it is integer value for num value and num layers, and there's a minimum maximum for that. You could also have a categorical where you specify a list of values for optimization, SGD or the ADAM optimizer. The next section is about your algorithm, which algorithm you have to use. You could use Gradient, Bayesian. There are lots of algorithms that are supported. And one thing to specifically say about is it is a very extensible framework. So which means you could add algorithm during runtime without even restarting your controller. So that's one real advantage. So depending on your use case, you could add your own algorithm, making sure that certain interfaces are implemented and it will start working. So here, you could set your algorithm name with default or overwritten algorithm settings. And the final section is some parameters which are used to specify the resource constraints for your experiment. So here, and this is quite important. So here, when we say parallel trial count to be 3, that actually means there are 3 trials which are run in parallel. And the max trial count defines the maximum number of trials which would be run before the trial is confirmed to be succeeded or failed. And the max failed trial count defines to be the count after which the trial will be declared as failed. So once experiment spec is created, after that the experiment controller creates the suggestion spec as I've described earlier, with which is a very simple spec which says the algorithm name with algorithm settings, if any, and the number of requests to be created, number of hyperparameter solutions to be created. Here I have said I want 2 solutions. So the suggestion controller talks to the algorithm service and creates the suggestion. So here in the status, suggestion controller says I have got 2 suggestions, and these are the 2 suggestions. You can see that there are on the top there is one Bayesian optimized example D8 DGD. So that's the first one, and there is a second one, right? And there are 2 solutions with a set of hyperparameter assignments for each variable parameters. So once you get a suggestion status, trials are created. For each suggestion, a trial is created. Say here, I'll take one example for a parameter assignment for a set of parameter assignments, and I'll create a trial spec. And on the right, you can see that earlier in the suggestion, in the experiment spec, you have just given template value, right? But here on the right, you could see that got replaced by the real values which are generated from suggestion. So once trial is completed, the max, minimum, and the latest values for the objective metric name as well as additional metric name are recorded. So here there were 2 metrics which are collected, and these are the values which are emitted out. I'll show that in example how that actually works. So once trials are getting completed, the experiment status basically shows the overall status of the experiment and shows what is the best trial which I have based on your objective which you have set. So here I'm saying that I have the best optimal trial has the validation accuracy as this one, with the parameter assignment as the following values. And I haven't listed the name, but there is a name you could actually figure out which trial corresponds to this one. So you could basically go to that particular trial and get more details about it. And it also displays the number of trials which are happening, ongoing, pending, as well as succeeded and failed. So you could get more information about the current status of the experiment. Sounds good. So do you have any questions as such? I'm happy to answer before getting to the demo.
A couple of questions from the comments. Let me actually, first of all, ask on them, okay? Yeah, so the first question from Manish about using KDIP on on-prem clusters. Right. Manish, do you want to give some introduction, or I can just read your question from the chat?
Hi everyone, this is Manish. I work for I work as an ML engineer in Flipkart, and we are also currently trying to onboard Kubeflow.
Great.
Yeah.
So, Andre, do you want to read?
Okay. Yeah, sure. So the question was about using KDIP on on-prem clusters where a tenant doesn't have an admin privileges.
Right. So, Manish, so it works in this way, right? So your admin privileges are just required for the KDIP installation. So once Katib is installed in a namespace, say like the default deployment, what happens in Kubeflow is the Katib controller gets installed in Kubeflow namespace, which requires the admin privileges. After that, each of the user is assigned a particular namespace, and he can create experiments in that. So he is free to do that without any admin privileges. So the tenant doesn't need admin privileges. It's only the cluster admin who wants to install Katib needs the admin privileges.
My question was, I have a doubt here. So when this Katib is running, it's actually trying to create internally the custom resource, right?
Right.
So would that be allowed? I'm wondering, without the admin privileges.
Yes. So here as I described earlier, so the CRD, the installation, right, that requires admin privileges, which is done by the cluster admin. But however, you can submit like it's something like you do a kubectl create deployment, right? Something like that, create custom resource. So you don't need any extra admin privileges for that. Does it answer your question?
Yeah, just to add that we have one issue about using Katib in the user namespaces related controller. I don't know if this is the question was about, but to be able to actually deploy Katib isolated by the namespace, not in the Kubeflow namespace. Yeah, but I can pose this issue in the chat as well. But right now, as Jonas said, yes, you can definitely use Katib without admin privileges. You just need to admin privileges to just install the custom resources.
Yeah, in my demo, I'll try to show that so that there'll be more clarity on that.
Sure, and just so Manish, does it answer your question, or do you have anything else?
No, thanks.
Okay, yeah, just the next question, Jono, from Ajinko, right? So do you want to just give an introduction to the question, or I can just read from the chat?
Yeah, so go ahead.
So you asked Ajinko, right?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll just quickly introduce myself. So I work in Pixel, and we are using Kubeflow for about 6+ months, and very much well versed with the pipeline structures and auto scaling groups, etc. But I'm new to Katib. I would like to understand how Katib can be used to analyze image-based data like object detection, masking. The literature, I would like to have more literature on this and more sample example if that is possible.
Right. So here, if you see that the current examples in Katib repo has MNIST example. So there is no dependency on whether you are using tabular or the image data. So as I explained earlier, what Katib requires is just a Docker container. So it can do anything, and it just takes the input as the hyperparameter tuner parameters. So what parameters you want to get tuned, you just give that as the input command line arguments or the environment variables. Katib will provide that, and it is up to the user to use that logic in the Katib container to finally execute and then do whatever you want. So there is no dependency on what type of data it is.
Okay, sure. I would like to see the next demonstrations after this, like once the questions are done.
Sure.
Sorry, yeah, just the last question from Ayush about the using Katib and Kale. So I think it's the question more about like the Kale integration. I would recommend like create an issue in the Kale repository and just copy it as. Doesn't sound good to you?
Yeah.
So I have. Yeah, I haven't tried in Kale. I'm happy to answer from the Kubeflow perspective. I haven't tried with Kale.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can move forward. Yeah, thank you. We can move forward to the demo.
Sure. One second. So you can see this?
Yes.
Terminal, right? Okay, so yep. So just to show what happens in the background. So here, let me show you. So I have installed standard Kubeflow installation. So here, that's why I could see that in Kubeflow namespace, you could, okay, let it come. Okay, so in the Kubeflow namespace, you could see the Catif deployment, right? Like if you see that there's a Catif deployment which happened in Kubeflow namespace, which happened in the Kubeflow installation. So I'm not going to the installation part. So here, like as an user, I can just create, for example, yeah, so I'm using the Catif repository here. So there are lots of examples. So here I'm just going to apply one grid example on, say, for example, I have a namespace, which is demo-nutanix.com. So you could use this name. So this can be the namespace for a particular user. So when in Kubeflow, when you get in a login as a user, and automatically a new namespace is created for you depending on the profile. And I'm just trying to create a namespace for you. Sorry, like an experiment in that particular namespace. So if you are not using Kubeflow, you still can just create a different namespace, and the Catif controller will try to get the experiment which is created in another namespace. So there is no dependency on the main Kubeflow installation. You could use Catif as a standalone installation. So, so here, before applying, let me show how grid example spec look like. So here, as I've told, I have a grid example. Objective is to maximize validation accuracy with additional metric names. I am using algorithm as grid. I have 3 parallel trials and 12 as the maximum count, 3 as a failed one. I have 3 parameters to be tuned, which is the learning rate, number of layers, and optimizer. For the trial template, I have a batch job, and I am using Catif MNIST example. So you could see the source code in Catif repository itself. And I am passing the 3 parameters as command line arguments to that. So let's see what happens when we apply that. So I have created experiment. So let's see if experiment is created. Yeah, so experiment is created. Let's see the pods in demo-nutanix.com namespace. So I have some extra pods. Let's leave that. So here you could see that I have one extra pod, which is here, which is the algorithm service, and it's already started running the trials. So in order to understand that, so let's see trials which are running here. Trials. So there are 3 trials which are already running, and the pods corresponds to that. So let's see what, say, for example, how do I see what is happening in each pod, right? Now, let's see the logs of each of them. So I have to provide the container. So you could see that my training job is actually happening in the container, and I'm looking for 2 metrics here. One is train accuracy and validation accuracy. So after each epoch, that is getting printed, and there is a metric container which is running together with the training job, which fetches these metrics and pushes to metric DB. So that will happen after once it is getting completed. So here, since my since my objective is to maximize these metrics, so I will try to get the maximum value, and pushes it to the experiment status once it is completed. So here the training job is completed. So which means my trial should have been completed by now. Right. So here you could see that since my parallel trials are 3, there are 3 trials which will be running always. So whenever a trial gets completed, the trial controller will make sure that you have an extra trial in order to make sure that your constraint is satisfied. So 3 are done, 3 again got into running. So whenever 1 gets done, a new one is spawned till my max number of trials, which is configured to be 12, is satisfied. So it keeps on going. And interesting part is you could see that from experiment, what is my current status of the experiment here. So here I'm seeing that there are 3 trials which are running. 3 are in succeeded state, total are 6. And my best trial till now is grid example. And the observation specifies the metrics which we have obtained for that. So here I have received the latest to be this and the max min for validation accuracy as well as for the training accuracy. And this is the parameter assignments for my best trial till now. So you could wait for completing 12 trials and see the best accuracy till that time. So if the objective is met even before that, then in that case, yeah, it won't run all 12. But here, as you can see that my max has just reached 0.97. It hasn't reached 0.99. So it will keep on running till I see that my value is reached to 0.99. And just one more thing. So you could also see what is happening with the suggestion. So that's also something which should be interesting for you. So here, I'm saying I have asked for 9 requests, 9 parameter hyperparameter solutions for a particular grid algorithm. So it has given me 9 possible solutions from the algorithm service. So here, this is a totally independent service or controller, which give me X number of requests. It will talk to the algorithm service and gets me that many number of requests. The experiment controller is the one which is making sure that the appropriate number of trials are getting created based on your parallel trial count. Yeah, so here you could see, let me see how much things have progressed. So we have altogether 9 trials, out of which 7 are succeeded and 3 are in running state. So there are 2 more to go. And anytime your experiment status will help you to figure out what is the latest value that I have got and the best value. So you don't need to run, say, for example, you have kept your maximum trial to be 100, but after 10 trials, you can just stop it and figure out what is the best metric. And then if you're happy with it, you can take it and then stop the experiment. That's also something which you can do. And one additional configuration is, if you have seen, so here, the algorithm service is always running during the lifetime of an experiment. So if you want a particular algorithm service to be stopped after completing your experiment, that there is a separate configuration to do that. Else, we have kept it long running so that you could resume that experiment later. So which means, say today you had resource constraints and you have kept maximum trials to be 10. So after 10, the experiment would record the best trial till 10 trials are completed, right? But tomorrow, when you have more resources, you could increase that to 50 and it will start from the last point. So if you ensure that it is long running, then in that case, it would resume from the last point. also, if there is an extra option for you to store the current state to an external PVC using a config called from volume resume policy. So if you do that, it will store to PVC, and during the next run, it will try to reload it from the PVC and starts running from the last state. So that is yet another option which you can actually use it. So here, let me see what is the status. And yeah, so here, yeah, we have spawned all 12 trials. 10 are in succeeded, 2 more to go, 2 are in running state. And I have still, my state is 0.97. I haven't reached a better state now after that. Training accuracy has improved after that. Yeah, so let it happen. So I'm happy to take questions if you have. So if you have questions, did it clarify your previous question? So I'm doing that in a separate namespace which doesn't have the admin privileges. So this can be done except for the Katib installation. You don't need any admin privileges. So here I'm just doing everything from the command line. You have a UI, which I think in the next section, Kimonas will actually show the new UI, and that will be helpful. So I'm not looking at the UI right now. I'm doing everything from the command line.
Yeah. Do you have any other questions from the community, by the way, since we're waiting until experiment will be finished?
Yeah, you can see that it's got into succeeded state, which means all 12 are completed. And you can see the best state possible. Yeah. So if you have any questions, let us know. We'll clarify that. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah, 12 are in completed state.
Yeah, just to add this, we in the new UI really try to make the better integration with the statuses, with the suggestion CR and with the experience CR to make it more visible for the user, because I know that the scientists, they don't want to deal with the YAML files. And definitely this is in our roadmap, how to make it easier for our users to just check these statuses. And by the way, if you just want to learn more about Resume experiment, I just post the link in the chat from the Kubeflow documentation site, which as Jono said, which allow you to resume your experiment when your budget is increased, and use from volume experiment and any other like save resources computation. Since we have like some time, you can ask any questions. By the way, like to update the things that I said before, we will have a session about Q&A in a couple of hours. So if you have any questions regarding to training operators or Katib, please feel free to add your questions here. You should have the comment access on this doc, and we will discuss about these questions there. This can be any questions to the training or AutoML in Kubeflow.
And just to add, so here when you look at status, you could understand the reason why experiment has gone to a specific state. So here you could see that my experiment has succeeded because the trial count has reached. So there are other ways where experiment can get succeeded. For example, it can reach objective value even before reaching the max trials. So this is like a one stop for you to understand what is happening to the experiment and see the status. We have tried to provide the most informative parts in experiment status. So, and we are happy to, if you have any specific support needs, we are happy to help there too. Thank you.